What a season for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Head coach Clark Lea joins us here on Hot Mic after 10-win season and Heisman Trophy finalist soon to be. You've got college football playoffs and certainly the resume that should put the Commodores there. Well, for sure. We'll see what happens. Coach joins us. Newly extended head coach at Vanderbilt. What a past week it's been.
Yeah, it's one for the ages. I mean, we obviously the extension was such a relief, and to be able to share that with the team on Friday morning was like so cool. It was my wife's birthday on Friday too, so that was
Nice.
quite a celebration. And then to have the team go and play in Knoxville like we played. I mean, it's unforgettable, and obviously now, like you're saying, we're looking to build on it. We think this team absolutely deserves a chance to go fight for a national championship. We think it's better for college football that Vanderbilt's in. We got a Heisman finalist and soon to be, and what we feel like is the Heisman frontrunner, and a team that's deserving. So hopefully, we can make our case, and the right people are listening.
I hate to be a conspiracy theorist guy with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But ESPN is the biggest driving force in college football.
Yes.
And the moment Texas beat Texas A&M, every ESPN analyst that I heard on every game all weekend talked about Texas's resume to be a team that could get in the playoff. Coach, I didn't hear that enough from ESPN or others about you guys when you went to Knoxville and won. I know you lost head-to-head with Texas. You got 2 losses. And to think that a 10-2 SEC team coming into this year would be left out of the college football playoff, I would think you'd be crazy to say that would happen. So what do you think about the coverage of this team, but also where you guys sit right now as you get ready for that rankings announcement tomorrow?
Well, we've had to play our way into respect, and we're still. It feels like with every game we win, the gap gets bigger that we're trying to close. I mean, here's a group. We played the Georgia Tech team in the bowl game, Birmingham Bowl, to finish the season last year, and won that game. And we returned the most production on offense, the most production on defense in our league, and we didn't get 1 vote in the AP poll to start the season. Meanwhile, that Georgia Tech team has gotten all the benefit of the doubt, and that's a great program, and I have a ton of respect for them. But it just shows the discrepancy there, and all we've done, is line them up and knock them down. I mean, we've gone on the road and won. We've won at home. I think we're 10-2 against the spread, which is almost unheard of. And all that to say, it seems like we're still trying to scratch and claw to find a landing spot. And some of it is the process is flawed. We got to address that. I think just as a body, we have to figure out a way to make this about merit and not about the automatic bids and all that kind of stuff. But more than that, we need the right thing done here. And the right thing, you look at our 2 losses on the road at Alabama, on the road at Texas. Both games were different, but in both games we were within striking distance in the fourth quarter. One, we're an inch away from recovering an onside kick to then go and I believe win the game on the final drive. The other, we're knocking on the door to score and unfortunately throw the second turnover of the game for us in the red zone. And Alabama is able to close it out on us. Otherwise, we're taking the lead in that moment in the fourth quarter, and we're fighting it out to the very end. So, again, that's the 2 blemishes on our schedule. Everything else, we've, I think, met and exceeded the expectations and the challenges. We've beaten 3 teams this season that were ranked in the top 15 when we played them. And we've won games every which way you can. We've had defensive gridlocks. We've had offensive, explosion. We've played complete games here to finish the season against Kentucky and at Tennessee, and won in a dominant fashion. So I think we're playing our best football right now, and again, this team deserves the chance to compete for a national championship.
And you've really been playing your best football season. I mean, you mentioned how you started. Your closing argument to this: 45 points over your final 3 games in each. Season high in rushing yards against Kentucky. You then turn around and have your season high. Season high in passing yards against Kentucky. Turn around and have your season high in rushing yards against Tennessee. You're tied at 21.5. You come back and you answer that bell. And I said last week, you're going to have to answer and pitch and have have the pulpit to why Vanderbilt should be in the playoff. And I was waiting on that post game. I don't want to speak for you. You had to be thinking about what you were going to say. You weren't asked the question on the field, though. Not saying Cole had a ton of time there. But I wanted you to have that opportunity because the team the resume's there for Vanderbilt to be in the playoff. And the fact that, well, we sit here and no one's thinking that Vanderbilt's going to be in because it'll be a 6th SEC team in. Coach, I mean, this is, to me, it would be a slap in the face to be in any other bowl game other than a college football playoff bowl.
Well, look, whatever opportunity we have to play, we're going to go play, and they're going to show up. My feeling is, I mean, I'm riding home on the bus, and we've got the TV on the game, and on the bottom line, it's talking about Vandy has a 10% chance of being in the playoff. That makes me sick to my stomach. I mean, this group is deserving. There are 4 teams that are ranked ahead of us that have a higher strength of schedule than we do. I mean, if you just look, if this were a blind, exercise where they just took the resumes of each team, there's no way that we're not in this. I think the other thing too is we have our coaching staff intact. We have our team intact. I mean, I'm embarrassed by some of the projections out there that have teams that have no business being in this playoff that are in there right now ahead of us. So there's work to be done. Some of that has to be fixed after the season. Right now, I need the selection committee to do the right thing. We have the best offense in the country. If you look at the big picture statistics, I mean, it's not even close. This group has outperformed the competition over and over again. Again, we have a Heisman frontrunner that's quarterbacking our team. And how exciting would the playoff be with a Diego Pavia out there slinging the ball around? I mean, but this story goes way beyond him, too. This is a really good football team. This is a team that has stepped up defensively and played really well here to close out the season. What is there to say about our offensive line, the way those guys have played, our receiver skill, Cedi Alexander coming off a career game against Tennessee, as you said, in a game where we rushed for over 300 yards. I mean, it's just, this is a gauntlet of a schedule in the SEC. And there needs to be a recognition of the fact that Vanderbilt football has stepped up and done exactly what it needs to do to be included in this conversation. The right thing is for us to get a chance to compete for a national championship. And look, if they don't want to get us in based off the merits, they can, any one of those teams they have ranked ahead of us. You give me a time and place. We'll play in the parking lot, put the ball down. This group will show up and compete. I'm not afraid of anything that way. I want a chance for this group to compete for a national championship.
And they'll back up the talk, too.
Hey, if you like this channel, become a season ticket holder for Hot Mic by clicking the subscribe button below and join our conversation in the comments section. Agree or disagree, we'll join. Coach, last week you talked about sustainability, right? And what you want the commitment and the partnership to be with Vanderbilt in order for this thing to be sustainability. The next chapter now is going to be sustainability after all this success. But talking about this chapter and 35 seniors and knowing there's not a bunch of Diego Pavias playing in college football over the course of 20 years even, how special this group was for you and how special it was to go on the road to Knoxville against the in-state rival and finish it that way. Can you just talk to how special, that not just Diego Pavia, but this group of veteran leaders that you've had on this team that have accomplished this season with this 10-2 record?
It's hard to capture in words the emotions I feel and the connection I have with these guys. Again, some of which have been here for 5 years with me. Some of them have been here for 8 months. All of them have left imprint on this program, and they've transformed us from inside. I think the convergence of some really healthy foundational work that we put in for 3 years before last season, the influx of competitive attitude and mindset, the participation in NIL and transfer portal to kick off the 24 season, so that we gave our program an opportunity to strengthen the top end of our depth chart. And then the way this group has come together and for all these guys that transferred in, they learned about what our program is before they tried to make it something it's not, and they helped us move it forward. I mean, it's just been amazing. The level of selflessness, the sacrifice, the suffering to get us to this place. And, this is obviously a historic season for us at 10 wins. And we see it as the beginning. This is what we're going to build upon. The legacy of Team 5 is going to give way to Team 6. And there are certain things that that have become true about our program now that will become standards for how we perform moving forward. We don't lose at home. That's an expectation now. We want to be in these postseason conversations every year. And ultimately, it's never going to be easy or straightforward in the SEC. And how do you replace a Diego Pavia? How do you replace an Eli Stowers? How do you replace a Langston Patterson? I mean, you can't. What you can do is strengthen the team as a whole. And what you can do is focus on the margins to win and build the best possible team that you can build and play the best football you can play. But in the end, the legacy of this team is that we're going to carry it forward. We're going to build that championship level sustainability. We're going to ultimately move into a new facility, hopefully that'll have a trophy case big enough for us to put all the things that are coming for Vanderbilt football, including a Heisman Trophy. That is really exciting. And the fact that Vanderbilt sees it and says, we want to be a part of this, and they've stepped up and been in lockstep with me, creating the vision and the resources we need to move this program forward. There's just no better place to be right now. And so I'm trying the best I can, to enjoy it while I'm in it. I think that I could have lived that moment on Saturday for the rest of my life and been happy. But at the end of the day, you have to descend the mountain. You can't live at the top. We woke up with new challenges on Sunday and Monday. We're now fighting our way into this playoff conversation. We want to make sure Diego gets all the credit he deserves in the Heisman race, and then we're going to position for whatever game they put ahead of us here to close out our season, so that we can cement the legacy of this team and carry that legacy forward as we continue to build.
Coach, hypothetically on the way out, let's say you're not the head coach at Vandy, you're a defensive coordinator anywhere else. You're preparing for Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia. Are you preparing for the best player in college football that week?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so many ways he can beat you. And again, it's one player who is the best player in the country. He plays behind an offensive line that I believe should win the Joe Moore Award. He's delivering the ball to receiver skill that, as a group, they're as explosive as any group we played against. And all of it's well coached. I mean, Tim Beck and the offensive staff have done an incredible job designing plays, designing around the skills that Diego has. You look at the pivot we made in that Texas game where we were trying to claw our way back into it, and the way we have shaped this team around a shift in tempo, a shift in personality, and then the way that all came together for us against Tennessee, where at times we were methodical, we were still gaining yards in chunks, but we were doing it out of the huddle and shortening the game, and then at times that we were up tempo and super explosive. I mean, it really is. We are strong because our coaching staff is doing a great job. Tim Beck is designing and calling the plays the way they need to be designed and called, and our players have taken total ownership of the performance on the field. And obviously, Diego is a big part of that. And so, yes, to answer your question, I believe he's the best player in the country. I believe he can beat you in so many ways. And there's only a few guys that can take the game over, and he is certainly one of them.
Yep. Hey, congrats on the season, the regular season. We certainly have already stated our opinion that Vanderbilt's a college football playoff team. The resume's there. And then getting the contract extension done, I know that was a hectic behind the scenes. You handled it professionally and the way it should be done. People should be pointing it out more as the example of what was right about a bad and flawed timing of the system itself.
And good luck on maybe getting some good news tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
With the rankings.
Well, I'm always into good news. Listen, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to Vanderbilt and for the opportunity I've been given here. And I'm so excited about where we're headed. And I appreciate you guys and for you stating our case. And let's keep pounding the drum and get this team where the team needs to be.
Yeah, man. Hey, let's chat soon.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is Coach Clark Lea, Vanderbilt Commodores. Historic year that will continue.
They put on a clinic against Tennessee on Saturday. I mean, completely outcoached, outplayed them. It was a no-doubter. That was a brilliant performance, brilliant play calling, great plan, great execution. Even after Pavia threw 2 interceptions.
Think about if they don't
in the first half.
Think about if they don't turn the football over. They're going to score on those drives.
Yeah.
Man, it's just you're right. That's a great closing argument. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to OutKick Hot Mic.
Daily content and more at OutKick Hot Mic on YouTube.